Hello YouTube, welcome to the Handyman Zone. Today we're going to be dealing with a cracked Anderson Series 400 gliding window. It's very similar to the 200 series. We're going to be ordering the replacement from Anderson under warranty for no charge, which basically is a $190 replacement window. But Anderson has a good warranty and they do stand behind it. So I called them up earlier, about 15 days ago, and I had the visible glass size measurement, and I had the numbers from the etching, which you'll see later in the video. And the phone number is also coming up that you should call. And I talked to the customer service over there, and they were nice enough to send me a replacement window. Now, if you look at the picture, you can see the pattern of the breakage, of the pattern of the cracks, kind of goes from corner to corner, and the whole middle section is broken out. There's a screen on this window on the outside. The screen is intact. There's nothing wrong with the screen. This window broke because a manufacturer's defect. Anderson is responsible. As a professional handyman, I've had quite a few of these over the years, and I believe that the seal fails, releasing the nitrogen gas that's in between the double pane glass. And it lets regular atmospheric air in there, and then either when the window gets really hot, like the sun hits it, or it gets really cold, like at night, they'll actually crack like this. And you'll usually see this pattern. Sometimes it's on the bigger windows, it's just one crack all the way across from corner to corner. And on the smaller ones, you'll usually see a bunch of cracks like this one, but basically with the same. What's broken here is the outside pane, and it's usually the outside pane that breaks. I think Anderson purposely designed the outside glass a little thinner than the inside glass so that when they do have a problem like this, the outside is the one that breaks, therefore controlling the broken shards of glass from like falling in the room. Maybe you got a baby crib under there or a bed or something like that, a little safety thing from Anderson. That's what I believe anyway. But a couple of things to be careful. This is a small window, but some of these windows are quite large and can be quite heavy. So I'm going to warn you to be careful, especially if you have to work on a ladder or something like that. You got to use extreme caution. We're also going to be using a sharp tool. We're going to be using a utility knife. I want you to be really careful with that. And just basically watch out for yourself. Wear gloves when you're handling the broken glass is a very good idea also. Again, so safety is. My understanding is Anderson has a 20-year warranty. The first 10 years is parts and labor. The second 10 years is just parts, where they'll send you the replacement sash and you have to install it yourself. In this particular window, we'll be installing the passive sash, which is the second one. So this repair will actually cover replacing both, because you have to get the active sash, which is the one. They ship it out. They'll pay for shipping. They'll no charge for the sash. It comes with instructions. It's very well packed, and it comes within a reasonable amount of time. Now, when these windows break, the glass is really sharp. So again, I want to. It's a pretty simple replacement. The tools we're going to be using is like a putty knife, like a 1-inch putty knife, a flat blade screwdriver, and a utility knife. It's basically. Here is the replacement sash straight out of the box. You'll see it's unpainted on the inside. The outside is vinyl clad. Comes in a really nice box. And as you can see, I just dropped it. No harm done. And again, this is just a little shot to show you the 3-4 page instruction packet that comes with it. It's pretty detailed and yet simple to understand and follow for the average homeowner. Although you may seek a professional handyman to actually do the job, but at least you could measure and call and get the window and have it ready for your handyman. And again, you're going to need some heavy-duty gloves, a garbage bag. Here we're taking out the plugs that cover the adjustment screws for the the shoes that hold it in the track, and you just kind of pop them out with a utility knife. They come out very easy. Unless they're painted over, then you may have to carve around. One, two, they're out. There's actually 4 adjustment screws on each sash, 1 at each corner on the active and the passive sash. But there's only 2 plugs. And this is a small flat-bladed screwdriver. You stick in a hole there and you find the adjustment screw and you back it off. In other words, you decrease the extension of the 4 shoes, 1 at each corner, that hold the window into the tracks. And now we're going to go on the other side of this is the active sash. We loosened it up. You stick your fingers underneath or stick a little screwdriver underneath and push the shoes up, and that sash is going to come right out. You watch right there. And then this is not the broken one. This one's going to go back in. And as you can see, this one is unpainted. This one was replaced a few years ago under warranty. And the one behind it, the passive one, is painted. That one is an original one that has finally broken. And there's some, the adjustment screws, again, at each corner, there's 4 in each one. So the first sash has 4 and the second sash has 4. And here I'm backing them off. There's the shoes. I'm just kind of loosening them up with the screwdriver. Put the gloves on because, as you saw, there's broken glass back in there. And we're going to grab this window and we're going to move it to a position that it's going to be a little easier to get out. There we go. We got that locking shoe out. I'm going to come on the other side, the left side. First, we're going to clean up a little of that broken glass back there. I'm going to get on the left side and back the shoes off, the lower and the upper. And there we're taking the screen out. The screen pops right out. A little later in the video, you're going to see putting the screen back in, a little more detailed shot. So removal would be the reverse of installation. But basically, you open the latch and the screen comes right out. And that was a good shot of that second screen, and you could see that that was not damaged at all. So this wasn't broken by like a landscaper's rock or a baseball or something like that. Again, it's just a manufacturer's defect in the double pane glass. So we're cleaning up some of the bigger shards with gloved hands, of course. And then we're going to come in and remove this second sash here. So now I have access to those left side adjustment screws. One, the lower one, and there's the top one. So we're going to give them like a half a turn, counterclockwise, back off on them, so that the inside sash, the active sash, you lift up and the bottom comes inwards to remove. The outside sash, the passive sash, you lift up and the bottom goes outwards to remove it. Pretty simple. And basically, installations reverse a removal. Here, we're disposing of the old one. It's broken. There's pieces of glass, so you got to be careful. We put it back in the box that the new one came in and dispose of it properly so no one gets hurt. There's no broken glass around. And again, a warning, it's broken glass, it's sharp. Some of these sashes are rather large and heavy, and they got big pieces of glass, sharp and dangerous, so please be careful. And you also got to remember, we're working around an open window that could be up off the ground quite a distance, so you got to be careful you don't fall out of the window or fall off your ladder or any other way to get injured. So here we're picking up the small pieces of glass that are left in the tracks and the window frame. Well, actually, these are like the medium-sized pieces of broken glass. The large ones haven't been removed before, and the small ones are going to get vacuumed up in a minute with the shop vac. But we basically have put all the broken pieces and the broken sash and the box in this black garbage bag that's going to go out for pickup from the trash guys. So here's the shop vac, and we're going to vacuum out the tracks. And then as a professional handyman, I like to work nice and neat, so I'm going to get the all-purpose cleaner out and an old rag, and I'm going to clean all the dirt and grunge off the tracks and off the outside of the window, and cleaning up whatever I can as long as I'm up there. Dust for spider webs around the inside and outside, so do a nice job. Keep your work area clean. So once again, I'm quickly reviewing the instruction sheet. There's diagrams as to orient the shoes, the guide shoes, and the outside sash, the passive sash, and the inside sash, the active sash. The guide shoes are in directly opposing positions. So on the outside glass, you want those little shoe catches to the outside of the pane so they fit correctly in the tracks. And then when you do the inside glass, the guide shoes and the little guide catch are exactly the opposite position, 180 degrees rotated to the inside. And as it's an Anderson product and it's well designed, it actually just, when you have it right, it just pops in like a minute. And there we go. That's the passive sash installed. Took about a minute. Double check your work, make sure everything's lined up. And if you do make any mistakes, you just pop it back out and reorient everything. Check your instructions, watch the video again, and try a second shot. Now here's the active sash. Now this again is the original one that we didn't replace. Well, actually, it's not the original one. It's one that was replaced years ago. And there's a shot of the guide shoe with pointing at the catch part that I was telling you is exactly opposite position as the outside one. And so this is going to go back in, and this is not a new one, but it's replaced a couple of years ago, as you can tell, because it's unpainted. There's problems with these Andersons, but they do stand behind their warranty. Double checking the orientation of the shoes, and we're going to get up there, and this one pops in just about as easy. Again, the top goes in first, and then the bottom goes in. And just a quick note, then on this active sash, the bottom goes in from the inside. And if you go back in the video and watch on the passive sash, the top goes in first, and then the bottom goes in from the outside. Now, I just took off some masking tape that I had on there to protect the paint. And as you can see, that window just popped right in. It took about 30 seconds. And double checking. Now what we're doing here is checking the reveal. This line has to be straight, and if it is crooked, indeed this one is slightly crooked, this is where you go to those adjustment screws on the guide shoes, and you adjust it until you have that line that's called the reveal, until it mates with the frame in a perfectly perpendicular manner. And that was like a half a turn I gave it, and I'm double checking. It's not completely closed, it's just a little open so you could see the reveal, and now I give it like a quarter turn, and that's it. She's ready to go. She's all adjusted, checking the latch, checking the operation, and the job is done. Clean up time, we're going to clean the glass. Any finger smudges that we got on there is going to be cleaned up at this time. Just a little Windex with one paper towel, and then we wipe it and buff it with the dry paper towel. It comes nice and shiny. Now we're going to put the screens in. Now in the meantime, I took the screens outside and I sprayed them off with the garden hose. And I also wiped the bottom sash of the screen. Seems to get a lot of dirt on it. And you see the screens pop in very easily. Again, you put the top in first, and then the bottom goes in. And everything's nice and clean at this point, so it's a pleasure to work when everything's nice and clean. And again, put the top in first, and then you grab that little handle on the screen, and you pull the bottom in. You see I got my hand on the handle. Pull the bottom into position, and then you click that latch that's on the, you'll see my right hand on the latch. You click it down, and the screen is in position. And there's the shot of your latch. That's it. The screen's in position. Double checking everything once again. Now all that's left is the wonderful job of painting these things. Prime first, of course, because it's bare wood, and then 2 coats. But since I hate painting, that'll probably never get done. I'd rather have a painter come in and do it than do it myself. Oh, and here's the 2 plugs that cover the guide shoe adjustment screw holes, and they just, again, pop back in. Simply and easily. Don't forget them though, because then it'll look like an amateur job. And now just dust them for spider webs. And now a couple of things I want to go over real quick is there's a 20-year warranty on these windows. Now, if you're over the warranty, you can tell because when you get the number off the etching of the glass, it would be something like CIG 487, let's say. So 87, 97, 2007, you're 5 years over the warranty. You're going to have to pay Anderson $190 for this sash. You might be able to get it from another supplier online, a little cheaper, but it's going to cost you. When you call a warranty department, let's say instead of saying CIG 4-87, let's say you said to the warranty department CIG 4-94, which would mean it was made in April of 94 instead of April of 1987. 94, 2004, 2014, you're well within the warranty period of 20 years. It may indeed just work. So that's a little trick for you, if you know what I mean. Save you a couple of $100. Now, my rates as a professional handyman, if I had to install this for a customer, this is probably like a $250 job from start to finish, which would be showing up, measuring, getting the etching off the glass, calling Anderson, and ordering it directly from Anderson. It would be like $250 labor plus like $190 for the window. Although I might tell the homeowner to call Anderson themselves and to get the free warranty sash, and then I would return after it was delivered and install it still for the $250, but they would save the money for the sash. If I didn't have to measure, if I just had to show up and install, remove the old one, install a new one, maybe I get like $200 for that. But either way, it's money well spent for the average homeowner. Now, if anyone has any questions or comments, leave the comments in the box. Send me a video response in the spirit of YouTube is the best way to do it. Just love the video responses. Subscribe to my channel. It's basically handyman, homeowner stuff. And thanks for watching, and I hope I helped out.